my work clothes? Yeah, What's up guys, David122 and it's underrated card day. Because I really didn't have any time this week to test a bad deck and have a bad deck profile, I figured I would just kind of talk about a card I was trying to build a deck around and see what you guys think about it, and maybe perhaps you guys can take the reins from there. And the card we are talking about today is Primal Seed. Besides sounding like the title of a hentai, what does it do? Primal Seed is a normal spell card that came out a long time ago, I want to say Invasion of Chaos. And it is alongside Blackluster Soldier Envoy at the beginning as a type of support card for him. I suppose there's also a support card for Chaos Emperor Dragon, but he's banned, so that's kind of a moot point at this point. But what does it do? If you control BLS or Chaos Emperor Dragon, you can take 2 banished cards from your banished pile and add them to your hand. Why are we talking about this card? Well, 2 reasons. It's at 3, which it's been for a while, but for the longest time it was actually, I think, at 1 and then 2. But more importantly, Blackluster Soldier was just put to 3 on the last ban list, if I'm not mistaken. Or it's the one before it. I think it was the last one. Which means the Chaos Boss Muster that you need to have on the field in order to actually be able to use this card is at 3. It's more consistent, which means it's more of a viable strategy than ever. But why was this card in BLS Limited? BLS alone is actually a very good card, but one of the reasons why it was put on the Forbidden Limited list at all was because of this card. And why was this card on the list was because there is an infinite loop with it. There was an old Asian Eyes White Dragon video where he made a Beaver Warrior have a bajillion attack because this card allowed him to do that. If you have Macrocosmos on board and then activate this card, you can add 2 of your banished cards back. This card will go to the banished pile. And if you have a second copy, or a second copy was in the banished pile, you can just use that second copy to add this copy back. And as long as you keep playing a spell like Limiter Removal or Upstart Goblin or anything that you just keep activating that's not a hard once per turn, that also keeps getting banished, you can just forever loop using this one in the spell card, then the other one in the spell card, this one in the spell card, the other one in the spell card, just looping a spell. Actually, that Upstart Goblin one will let you draw your entire deck, which is kind of neat. But what people normally use is the Limiter Removal because you keep doubling the attack power of a machine that you have, so basically you can get it as high as you need it to go in order to swing for game. But that silly loop aside isn't really why I wanted to talk about this card, even though it is technically doable now, or it's more doable than it has been in a long time. No, because with Macrocosmos at 1, it's still really clunky, and I don't think it's really worth it. No, what we were talking about is because this card, probably because it's old, does not specify face-up banished card. Yep, this thing can add face-down banished cards from your banished pile to your hand. So you don't need Macrocosmos, you just need to play Pot of Desire. Yep, those 10 cards you banished off the top of your deck are actually now, you can add them to your hand. Because Primal Seed says banished card and not monster, spell, or trap, it works just like Omega, and those are totally viable targets. Do I think this is going to be some uber epic unknown strategy? No, but if you're playing a Chaos build of, I don't know, like a Lightsworn or something, this card might actually be kind of neat. Sure, it's unsearchable, but you could always grab it with, I don't know, Left Arm Offering, which if you banished anything you really wanted, you could just use the Primal Seed to get it back, so that totally works as well. What I like about the strategy is, milling 10 cards off the top of your deck, which is a quarter of your total deck, you are most likely to hit at least 1 copy of something that you actually want. Hopefully you're not hitting like your 1-off Garnet, because if you're playing 1-off Garnets and then also playing Desires, that's kind of clumsy deck building. But let's assume that there's a 3 of in your deck that you actually want to see, and you didn't see it. Well, you're probably going to at least hit 1 of them with Pot of Desires, and if you have BLS on the field, your Primal Seed will let you add that card to your hand. It's just a little combo I've been noodling. I'm trying to figure out whether or not it is viable, but it's certainly interesting. And all the people who really don't like Pot of Desires because of that banish mill, this is a good way of building it into your deck that actually kind of helps you as opposed to just, you know, hurting you and hoping for the best. Sorry I'm not enthusiastic as I normally am. I'm having a bit of it. If I get too loud and verbose and breathe too heavy, my asthma's kicking up. They were screwing with the drop ceiling at work, and I think kicked up a bunch of dust. And now I'm just railing. But anyway, that was the card Primal Seed. I actually really think this could be really cool, given the proper deck build. So let me know in the comments below what you guys think of the card. And remember, guys, if you don't troll the meta, who will? I will see you guys next time.
Remember to subscribe so that you don't miss any of my totally rad dueling. Watching more of these videos is almost as fine as Taya's ass? What? I'm not saying that. Fine, then it's time to duel.